stand in front of the light so I can see you. That's funny. Turn around. That's going to be like his jetpack. I'm going to like Photoshop it. Right, let's figure out a position. So the first one will be Charlie from the back. Then I'll start to do the light painting, and that's all we really need to do because the rest of it's going to be Photoshop. Stay there. You there. That's just for the background. I've got a separate shot of you, one looking up like that, and then obviously that's with the blue, and then I've got one of the actual helmet lit up with different colours from different angles, so we can merge together, look, back and front. So I can merge those together, and then I'll put that background in, and then I'll try and add like space stuff between the gaps. How's it feel sitting down for 10 hours?
My head's fucking... I felt like I was gonna pass out.
Why?
Because it's so compressed against my head.
Oh, well, you should have just said. You passes out in the chair. Right, so I know that was a really quick photo shoot. That's because I wanted to do more of the editing process this time and show you how I actually make the photos and merge them all together. So obviously we have the photos here in Lightroom. These are just all the base images that I've gone through and selected. And the first thing I did was edit them. I'm not going to go too much into this because I just used my presets, so I can edit them in 2 seconds. So I used Harsh Sun from my new preset pack, which is linked below. This is the free preset as well that you get down below. And then I just brought the exposure up. Job done, the texture's nice and rich, shadows are up, settings are here if you want to see it, but yeah, it's linked below, that free preset. So these are the base ones we got. So I just got a couple of positions here, front, back, side, front again. Then we did the long exposure stuff on its own, and I've obviously edited just for the light beams. And then we've got a single exposure of his head, and then I did the 2 exposures of the lights on the front and the back, just then we've got options. And then again, the light beams for that position. And then this was the forward facing one. I just tried to get loads of lighting areas of the helmet, but as you can see, the lights are reflecting, but I'll show you in Photoshop how I got rid of that in a second. And then we went to the actual ones where he's just there, and I just did the beams behind him anyway. And these are actually all right on their own. I actually did merge some stuff in Photoshop to make these ones look a lot cooler, but this is what they look like standard from Lightroom. And then you've got these 2 at the end, which I also merged together. So those are the base images in Lightroom. From there, obviously we need to make them look a little bit better in Photoshop. So I'll show you the ones that I've already done, and then we'll do the last one together. So I masked out Charlie on his own and then added the background in, and then I used Photoshop AI to make like a bit of a sky. So it looks like he's in this big open red, I don't know, space area. Quite like that. This one's very cool though. So this is obviously the actual helmet here, which is this shot, I believe. Or, well, no, it's another one. It's more zoomed in. And then I've got a separate shot. Oh, here we go. So this is the first one. This is the second one. So I did 2 exposures, one to light up the left side of his face, and then keep that side shadowed. And then I got the light beam and just did a red section from the bottom near the mouth. And then I merged those 2 things together. And then you get with that. That's pretty sick. I love this photo. And then from there, I obviously did the light beam behind him. I don't know if I showed that or not, but that was just a silhouette before on its own. And then obviously I added this so it looked like this before. And then I just added this second exposure like this to add the helmet in and just give it a little bit more. Again, that's using the blending mode of a fully exposed helmet and then just blending it together, and then it softens out all the edges. So this is the original, this is the second image, just so we can at least see some of the face. And it actually done it really well. It works like perfectly. And then this is arguably one of my favorites. So it's this image here, and then I used Photoshop AI to enhance the rest of it. So I filled in these areas and just put space station, and then it uses the colors that are already on the screen as a reference. So it saw all these light beams and it's used that and matched the colors perfectly. So it looks like we're in some little room. And then I wanted to put something in his visor, and I've got 2 options here. So I've got this one, which actually does look a little bit better, but I hate this line that's in it. But you can see the sort of red, it's even matched to the planet that we're looking at, as if we're looking at a window of a space station with that in the front. Or there's this one, which is a bit more dramatic. I don't really know which one to do, so I did both. Right, so now comes the time to actually do one together. So I've left this one till last because I do think this one is actually going to be arguably the best one. So let's do this one together. So this is the one where he sat on the chair from the side. So we're going to pull in the back exposure of the helmet, and then we're going to pull in the front exposure of the helmet, and then we're going to pull in the background of the light trails. Bosh. So there you've got 3 photos in Photoshop. We're going to unlock the background of this one, and I'm going to put these 2 on top. So we'll leave the actual background to itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just blend them together, and we'll see what happens, because it actually sometimes works perfectly straight away. Because as you can see, he stayed in the same position, so that helmet is perfect and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is just press this, and then we're going to press blending options, come up to here, and then we're just going to see if it's going to actually blend any of these in nicely. You know what, the more I'm doing this, the more I actually don't want both exposures of the helmet. I don't want it to be light on the front and the back. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this photo, and we're going to say goodbye, and we're just going to have one photo, and then we're going to blend that in with the background. Let me just make sure the background doesn't need anything taken out. No, it doesn't. So let's blend these 2 photos together. Okay, so that's actually blended it in nicely, but obviously we've got 2 helmets there, so I just need to quickly get rid of the subject out of this one. So if I just quickly do this, we should be able to drag around the helmet. It's going to select it normally quite well, which it is doing right now. Just hold Alt to get rid of this line that's spread out. We'll just go around the body and the helmet to get rid of that silhouette. Get him out of here. See you later. So it's not perfect, but your eye's not going to go to the back of the helmet straight away. You're not really going to see that straight off. So I think that's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm just going to see what happens if I select this background here, and then we're just going to go into all these gaps, and we'll see if it can add a space station-esque vibe like it did with the other ones. So let's see what this thing does. Cool, so that's those top sections faded in a little bit. They've got a bit more interesting stuff going on. Right, I actually think I'm going to leave that one there, because if I go too much, it's just going to look too unrealistic. So I think we've got the nice sky. I could have added some stuff in here, but I don't know. I don't think it needs it, to be honest. I think there's enough there. So what I'm going to do is export this, and we're just going to quickly throw it into Lightroom, and I'm just going to show you how you can add some linear gradients just to bring it back a little bit, because it does look a bit artificial right now. I will obviously do this with the other photos, but for now, just so I don't take up all of your time, we're just going to do it with this one. So yeah, we're just going to add a linear gradient. So I want the light sources obviously on the left, so we're going to keep that as it is, and then we're just going to pull a massive linear gradient from here, and we're just going to pull that right down. So we've got a nice shadow behind us. I didn't even realize I haven't even taken out the chair that I'm sat on. For fuck's sake. I'm literally sat on a garden chair still. Well, I can't bother to get rid of that now. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to select subject. Hopefully it chooses me. Yes, it does. And we're going to add a little bit of shadows. I'm going to bring the highlights up a little bit so it bounces off that face. And then I might lift the exposure slightly still to about there. And then I might even pull another linear gradient from the bottom just to try take attention away from that chair. I did not even realize I forgot about that chair. And we'll leave it about there, I reckon, just because that shadow from the bottom and from there just adds that little bit of more realism into the photo. And obviously this is all light anyway, so that can be light up there. But the rest of it looks quite cool. So yeah, I think that's a success. From just sitting in the garden on a chair and then doing some long exposures and doing half the effort again, and then putting some Photoshop to it to see if we can enhance it. I think we've absolutely got some really good photos here. I'm actually really happy with these. That's the end. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that gave you a bit of inspiration to go get some photos in your garden, because there's no excuses. I can't drive anywhere at the minute because my car's broke, so I'm having to do photo shoots in the garden, and you can see right there, you can make some really cool stuff. If you've got a good idea and you've got some time on your hands and some actual fucking motivation to get off your ass and go do it, you can come up with some really cool stuff. Just using Photoshop and your camera and your brain, all right? So yeah, all the gear's linked below, presets and stuff that I edited those photos with are linked below, and yeah, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.